going out there today. I like it.
Thank you.
As always, if you have not done so already, please make sure you click the subscribe button below so you don't miss any of the content we produce on a daily basis for all of the sports going on right now. I think that might just be easier to say that than to get into what they are. But just up right now on the site, you've got just Hot Pucking Stacks is up now, and the net will be coming up and following this video. Plus, you've got this video. The NBA Morning Shoot Around is up, and we've got content for the NBA up today as well. And the PGA from the Tips podcast by Derek Hill is up right now, breaking down the Players Championship. Every time that there's golf and it's a major, maybe not the Players Championship considered to be a true major, but this is a major event. There is live wall-to-wall coverage, and we've kicked it off with the podcast by Derek Hill. So there's a big slate of hockey games tonight, man. We won't get into Twitter being set on fire by the NBA last night, but we had hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Our cash line came through in the clutch. It did cash last night. Again, our NBA cash lineup did hit again last night. So if you want to check out any of our cash game lineups, visit us at dfscheatcheat.com. Let's get into some hockey, man. How you doing this morning?
Absolutely. I'm good. It's 2:00 Eastern here, right outside of Detroit.
No.
I told you before the video, I feel like there's a softball right in between my face right here. Been smacked with a sledgehammer here, softball here, but the show must go on. I wrote a lot of this stuff last night, but it translated over this actual morning here. So I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
Don't play on the East Coast West Coast thing right there. It's morning. It's still morning. You'll give me anxiety if I start thinking it's afternoon already. It's too much to get into today.
Well, it is here on the East Coast. Well, Michigan's more of the Midwest-ish kind of thing, but still 3 hours behind, if I'm not mistaken.
Big day in Michigan. We've got some primary votes to get into today too, right? So let's get into hockey. Let's do what we do best, which is not politics or voting or any of that stuff. We talk daily fantasy sports. So the first game on the slate, Tampa Bay at Toronto, and I did take a peek at Hot Pucking Stack. I know you like both sides of this. Tampa Bay's minus 110. It's a 6.5 over/under. Let's see what you got with this one.
Well, last night when I started to think about what teams I wanted to do, what teams I wanted to stack and one-off guys, I must have went to bed with it on my brain because in the middle of the night I was visited by some spirits. Used the Ouija board this morning, and they told me quit with the nonsense today. Don't get cute with third or fourth lines. Hammer home lines 1 and maybe a 2 here and there. So I'm going heavy today. Tampa Bay 1, Toronto 1 tonight. So with Tampa Bay 1, you got Palat, Point, and Kucherov. And then with Toronto 1, you got Hyman, Matthews, and Nylander. All 6 guys play on their respective first team line, and then most of them are on the power play 1, aside from Palat with Tampa Bay skates on the second power play unit, and then Hyman with Toronto plays on their second power play unit. Now I know this game is going. There's a lot of hype around this game, as you said. There's a 6.5 over under there. It's in Toronto. Toronto hasn't. I had a question this morning. A guy messaged me. He said, "You've been pretty hot with Toronto lately," and I had to think about it. I haven't mentioned them in the last few days, and when I do, it's normally Toronto too. You got Taves running out there with that line. So as I said, Tampa Bay 1, Toronto 1. Let the fireworks fly tonight.
Not only Taves, but we've been on ours as well, right? I mean,
absolutely.
You're talking about, you say Taves?
I did, yeah, Jonathan Taves.
Yeah. So we move on. I know you don't have a lot of interest in this game, but I think in the article you've got a one-off play. We're on to Nashville and Montreal. Nashville's minus 112. This is a 5.5 over/under. It's an 8-game slate, and we can't love people from every single game. It's just not the way it works.
Absolutely, yeah. I do like from the game. I like Max Domi. He's a cheap center. He plays with on the second line for the Canadians, and he's on the second power play unit on FanDuel. He's only $4,800 on DraftKings, just $100 higher or lower at $4,700. And what you might find odd too, I like him, but I also love. We talked about this before. I'm just going to call him Juicy Saros, Nashville Predators goalie. Guy's been confirmed. He's $8,600 on FanDuel, $7,300 on DraftKings. His save percentage is 91% or so. He's got 4 shutouts. I'm on the fence with. I mean, that'd be a big move for me to say he's going to get a shutout. I don't think that happens, but he's got 4 already. 5 would be nice. I'm going to stay away from this game basically because I love Nashville's goalie. I'm not that into Montreal as a full stack. A one-off, like I said, with Domi is okay. There's just so much more stuff going on tonight that I like aside from this one.
We'll move on. Pittsburgh's at New Jersey. Pittsburgh's minus 170. This is a 6 over under. And I know you like a one-off play here as well.
Correct. Yeah. There's 2 of them in this game. I love Patrick Hornquist again and Brian Rust. Hornquist he's $4,900 on FanDuel. 60. I don't see. This is why FanDuel and DraftKings are different to me. It's mainly been the pricing. So on FanDuel, Hornquist is $4,900. On DraftKings, he's $6,100. So if I can tell you, most of you know, I'm not big in playing on DraftKings. I do, and that's fine. But we all have our favorites, whether it's our drink of choice, our sons or daughters. We all have a favorite, right? My favorite is FanDuel. So would I pay $6,100 on DraftKings for Hornquist? No. On FanDuel at $4,900? Absolutely. So we move on to Rust for a minute. He's on their second line, second power play unit. He's $5,500 on FanDuel, but again, he's massively priced on DraftKings at $6,600. Yes, he leads Pittsburgh in goals. He's getting a lot of ice time, but I would stay away from both of those guys on DraftKings. On FanDuel, they're full goals for me there tonight.
Moving on, Boston is at Philadelphia. This is a minus 110 game. Minus 110 game for Boston. It's a 5.5 over under. Talk to me about what you like here, if anything at all.
I have Kevin Hayes. He's plays on their second. He's the center for Philly's second line. Plays on the second power play unit too. He's not going to cost you much. $5,800 on FanDuel. Cheaper on DraftKings at $5,400. I just think this game, people will look at it and they'll see Boston is in Philadelphia. Boston is the favorite. Excuse me, not by much, but they are a favorite. They both sit at about 2.8, 2.7 goal implication tonight. Aside from a one-off or my love for mixing and matching, I don't think I want to get into full game stacks with these teams. You know what you're going to get with Boston. Philly's been on fire. They're in Philly. These two teams hate each other. I think it's just going to be, a tight, hard-hitting game, not a lot of goals, a 2-1 final, maybe let's say Philly wins in a shootout. It's just not going to be what people expect it to be. So therefore, I'm going to stay away aside from my one-off.
Staying away, and we are moving on to Carolina at Detroit. No Red Wings hat today. Rocking the Chris Robin Colorado Rockies hat.
That's it.
But your boys are on the slate. Again, we find them as a monster underdog, minus 265, a 5.5 over-under. Sounds like a 4-1 game here. What do you like? I'm pretty sure you like Carolina number 1, but I'll let you explain that.
Absolutely. I'm in full support of my Detroit Red Wings. Win or lose, it's been mostly lose. We all know how many times can we kick that dead horse. I love following with the hammer home first lines today. Carolina 1, Aho, Teravainen. I love those guys today. All 3 guys play on the first power play unit. They're all on the first line, as I said. You can add in Svechnikov, too, I believe is how you say his last name. Line 1, power play 1. They're in Detroit tonight. I had a conversation with a loyal reader and viewer of our article, or excuse me, of our YouTube videos here, and I love Carolina. I've always had like a soft spot for them. Carolina 1 or 2. It's been like a week or 10 days since I've mentioned them, and right today is the perfect opportunity to play Carolina 1 tonight in Detroit. They're horrible. Run with it, and I'm looking at 15 plus points for each guy on the first line tonight. It's one of those nights where every guy from Carolina 1 may score a goal tonight. Not going to set it in stone, but I just want people to know that I mentioned it. Aho, Tua Teravian, and Sven Svechnikov, all with a goal and an assist tonight. not set in stone, but just we're putting it out in the atmosphere. So if it happens, I reap all the benefits, like we said yesterday. If not, people forget, and we're on to tomorrow.
You'll have to tune in to the Hot Pucking Stacks. I'm sorry, to a good compliment to Hot Pucking Stacks is In the Net. So you'll have to tune in the net when that goes up after this. But I have a feeling that there may be a goalie from this game that is in that article. Just a hunch, especially knowing that we've got a huge dog here. I could be wrong, though. I could be 100% wrong on that.
No, you're not wrong. Mainly because we mentioned it before the video. So sorry to pull the curtain back on this one, but Peter Mrazek tonight, he's already confirmed for Carolina. If you didn't know, he played in Detroit for a few years. I mean, that was a while ago, so the revenge game factor is not even on my radar. But he's $7,700 on FanDuel. He's cheaper on DraftKings at $7,100. He's 20-16. He's got 3 shutouts so far this season. Like I said, he's confirmed in a 3-1, 4-1 game. He is my all-in cash goalie of the night. Set that in stone.
Yeah, he's, for one, I say this a lot with NBA. When a guy's too cheap for the spot they're in, and this is he's too cheap for the spot he's in. The Rangers are in Dallas. Dallas minus 165. This has a 5.5 over under. Talk to me about this one, because I'm pretty sure that you like the Dallas side of this, if I remember correctly from Hot Pucking Stacks. But let's get into that.
I do. I love. I really, again, the narrative, hammer home teams' first lines. I love Dallas won tonight. Jamie Benn, Sagan, and Perry. For a while, I don't have the timeline, but I know that Benn and Sagan, they haven't been on the same line. You know, they put Benn on line number 2, Sagan stayed on 1, but now they're reunited, and it feels so good. These guys are absolutely monster hockey players, and this was actually Dallas won, and this game in general was the first stack that I liked when I sat down last night and started to put this article together. Now, it's one of those games where people will say, well, Chris, every time the Rangers play, you've always gotten, Rangers 2-1 with the Breadman, what did you say? Artem Panarin. He plays on the Rangers second line. He's been hotter than hell. Mika's playing tonight, obviously. He's on the first line. He's expensive as hell. He's $8,800, so I may get burned on this one, but I don't think so. I don't have anything to do with the Rangers tonight. I love Dallas won. It's in Dallas. Dallas is the favorite tonight, which is shocking, but I'm going with it. I could see a 3-1, 4-2 final in Dallas's favor. Again, I don't care who wins. We're just here to predict points and fantasy points. So Dallas won tonight for me, please. I love it when Sagan and Benn are paired together. And then our boy Corey Perry's in there too tonight. So I could see Dallas 1 being my favorite stack of the night here, aside from Carolina 1.
I have to – I just can't – I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Mika Zibanejad. This guy is hot. I mean, this guy is hot, like a definition of I don't know how much hotter a hockey player can be. He hasn't gotten less than 9.6 points since February the 9th back in LA. I mean, this guy's had 23, 15. He's had multiple 40-point games. He had the monster 5-goal game the other night where he had 75 fantasy points. I mean, this guy is just ridiculously hot. And I mean, I know that we like Ben Bishop in tournaments tonight, and you can go check out the article after this. He's on for it. But Ben Bishop hasn't exactly been the definition of on fire lately. We like him in tournaments. We like him in the spot. But the last 3 games, he's coming on 3 straight losses when he's been in the net. And for me, a good one-off play is Zibanejad. I mean, this guy is just ridiculously freaking hot as far as – I mean, I'm surprised he's not melting ice with every time he takes it. He's just been that ridiculously hot. So with that in mind, we'll move on to the next game. The Islanders are at Vancouver. And before we came on, you were talking about you like both sides of this game, and I think you might have said this is one of your favorite games of the night.
Absolutely, yeah. The if I didn't mention it yet, hammering home first lines tonight. I that was a joke for the people that are watching this, because that's all I've said actually. Islanders won, Vancouver won. With the Islanders, you get Anders Lee, Barzal, Eberle, all three on the first line, all three on the first power play unit, and then you can stack them, complement it with Vancouver one, JT Miller, Toffoli, and Elias Peterson, all three guys on the line, first line and the first power play unit. So if you look at it, all six skaters, first line, first power play unit. If there's a full game stack that you want in on tonight, it's this one. I'm going to say it now. No other game on the slate tonight excites me as much as this one. I know it's weird. I know it's wacky, but I'm a weirdo. What can I say? You know that old cliche I get laughed at every time I say it around my friends, but you like what you like. And I like the Islanders and Vancouver tonight. That's it.
Yeah, it's so funny to hear people say that because people talk to me, I'll say I'm not a brand whore. Like, I don't care about brands. Like, oh, what are you talking about? No, I like what I like, man. I like what I like,
Yeah.
and that's just the way it is. I like it. It has nothing to do with what it is, but
That's it.
I love that. I love that saying. You like what you like, and you move on. The last game on the split. Go ahead.
Just because Polo pays you thousands of dollars to wear their fleeces in the video, that has nothing to do with the fact that you like Polo.
I wish that I had like a sweet Polo golf deal like Davis Love had.
Yeah.
And maybe, if we can get a Coke Zero deal, because
Sure.
I mean, I kind of live off Coke Zero, so we'll mention Coke Zero as well. Maybe they'll send us some media and we could throw that little sponsorship tags and commercials in our videos too. Now that I've said that, we're gonna get bombarded probably. Like every time somebody watches one of our videos, it's gonna be like a Ralph Lauren golf commercial, and they're not gonna pay us for it. And Coke Zero, right? Like you're gonna see somebody opening a little thing and going,
like they need us to promote their stuff.
Right. So I've digressed though. So Ottawa, Anaheim, the last game on the slate, and just before I get into Ottawa and Anaheim, two all-in calls by you yesterday, which came to fruition. Florida wins on the road. That was a big call. You said, I'm probably going to take some crap for this, but you said Florida's winning tonight on the road. They did. And then we took the Kings. And the Kings, we talked about it, this West Coast thing that's going on right now. The teams on the West Coast are playing really well, which is not the way it's been all season long. And the Kings went out last night and really if you watched that game, this reminded me of the Kings like Stanley Cup times with the amount of pressure that they would put on the opposing goalie. And I want to say there was some point midway through the second period that they had already it was like 25-9 in shots on goal. They were just pounding shots in exactly. So two awesome calls last night. Do we have any kind of a call in this one? The Ducks -130 here. And the over-under is 5.5. What do you like in this?
Well, I don't think calling Anaheim second line to be awesome tonight is that big of a hot take because they're at home. Ottawa comes to town. The Senators are just as bad as the Red Wings. So when I say I like Anaheim too, not going on that big of a limb, but that's what I'm doing tonight. This is the only line two that I like tonight. If you don't know, hammer home line ones tonight. But Richard Rakell, Adam Henrique, and Jakob Silverberg, all three guys on the second line. All three guys skate together on the second power play unit. All three guys are seeing between 14 and 19 minutes a night. And who knows, like you say, with the bounce of a puck, these guys stay in there an extra minute and a half on power play, or another bounce of a puck or an icing call, and they stay on the ice even strength. So I love Anaheim tonight. I feel super comfortable stacking them with one of our other line ones, preferably, let's say, New York Islanders one or Carolina one. I could see a move where I stack Anaheim 2 with Carolina 1, enter, and then Carolina 1, Anaheim 2, enter. So just that mix and match kind of thing. And then when you're done with that, scroll down hot puck. I have actually 5 one-offs of defensemen tonight. So get to hot puck, check it out. I got Ellis, Nashville tonight, Brady Segjecki, Carolina tonight, Edler, Vancouver, Slavin, Carolina, and Mikhail Sirajev, Toronto second line. So there's plenty of content to go through. I think if you read it and you go through it correctly, we can do some damage tonight. Any questions, reach out, find me on Twitter, reach out to Jeremy on Twitter. And that's all I got.
And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you hop in our Discord chat. It's absolutely free. The link's in the bottom of this video. One last question for you.
Sure.
With Peter Mrazek as a guy that we like in cash tonight, do you like Ryan Miller as a pivot? They're only $300 difference on FanDuel on price. You know, you're saying with what you said about Ottawa, they're
Yeah.
you know, it's not a secret here that you like them. Do you like Miller as a late night hammer, as a pivot off Mrazek?
Absolutely. He's in the net will be published minutes after we're done with this video. And Ryan Miller is in that. He's my value goalie tonight. He's only $7,400, as you alluded to, $7,500 on DraftKings. He's the only goalie that I've mentioned tonight that isn't confirmed, but we all know that's a 10 o'clock Eastern time late start game. So keep an eye on that. I would be safe going with any goalie that's starts for Anaheim tonight is a play for me. He's got a 3.16 goals against average, 90% save, only 8, 6, and 4. So what? He's only played 18 games this season. That's fine. They save him for back-to-backs or later night games. So I have no issue playing Ryan Miller tonight. He's cheap. It can allow you to stack those pretty heavy hitting line one combos that we just mentioned. So good thing you brought that up. Thank you. And that's just to tie it up in a nice bow.
It would be difficult for them not to play Ryan Miller. I believe their last game was Sunday.
Yeah.
And then they've got Gibson, who's out who missed Sunday with a groin injury. And then they just brought this guy, Anthony Stolarz, back up.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be difficult to imagine them starting somebody else. But that's a nice little teeing you up to promote in the net. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the Morning Skate. Until then, make sure you check out all the content on our site for NHL. We've got Hot Pucking Stacks up now, detailing all of the stacks and one-offs that Chris likes for this slate. In the net gives you an opportunity to break down 4 goalies, a cash game play, a value play, a mid-tier play, and a pay-up spot. Again, we'll be back tomorrow. Keep it cashing, guys. Peace out.